Hello everyone and welcome to... This is Africa, and here's Liberia. Now let's have a look, shall we? Liberia's story begins a very long time ago, but those ancient inhabitants left very few traces of themselves. But as the centuries passed, various tribes migrated into the land, following the collapse of larger empires to the north. And to this day, the land is home to many different peoples, such as the Pele, Bassa, and Kru, agricultural and metalworking societies ruled by chiefs and following animist religions. In the 1400s, the Portuguese sailed about the area, which came to be known as the Grain Coast, because of the trade in grains of the then very valuable Malagueta peppers. Skipping ahead to the early 19th century, this Grain Coast region was selected by an American organization called the ACS as an ideal spot to relocate African Americans, both freeborn and those freed from slavery. Several thousand made the voyage, and lands were acquired from local chiefs, and thus a colony was formed, which came to be known as Liberia, meaning free place. The capital, Monrovia, was named after U.S. President James Monroe, who had been a strong supporter of the ACS. These settlers, or Americo-Liberians, had very little in common with the natives, and did not integrate with them, but rather kept to themselves, and clashes and fighting flared up every now and then. In 1847, Liberia declared independence, and Joseph Jenkins Roberts was elected president. The United Kingdom was the first to recognize the new state, which was Africa's first republic. The Americo-Liberians continued as a ruling elite minority, but their efforts at extending their territory were stymied by the French in the Ivory Coast and the British in Sierra Leone, and the young country's economy began to falter. In 1926, under Charles D.B. King, Liberia negotiated a deal with the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company, and rubber plantations popped up, and exports were shipped out, and money washed in. In 1930, President King was compelled to resign after a League of Nations commission discovered Liberia was engaged in slavery and forced labor. During World War II, Liberia's rubber proved highly beneficial to the Allies, and the United States built up Liberian infrastructure, and the country prospered under the long regime of William Tubman. Now, since the Republic's foundation, the country had been ruled by members of the colonizing Americo-Liberian or Congo class, and the indigenous inhabitants of the land were growing more and more frustrated. In 1980, Master Sergeant Samuel Doe led a military coup and seized power, and the president and his cabinet were shot dead. Doe became president, but in 1989 his reign was challenged by a former government minister, Charles Taylor, who led a rebel army against him in the First Liberian Civil War. The conflict ruined the nation. 200,000 people were killed. The economy was decimated and living standards plummeted. Taylor became president, but was himself toppled by rebels in the Second Liberian Civil War. In 2005, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf became the first woman elected to lead an African state and made peace and reconciliation a top priority, winning the 2011 Nobel Peace Prize for her wonderful efforts. In 2017, the football legend George Weah was elected president, vowing to tackle the corruption that has long poisoned Liberian politics. Liberia today faces manifold obstacles to betterment, but it has done admirably recovering from its horrific years of strife and upheaval. And here's hoping that this good land, rich in resources, sees happier times ahead. But as for me, it's bye for now. Bye-bye!